Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 1804. I'm your host, Andy, and today we'll be taking a look at a few stories. One of them mainly a development project in Haiti, as well as a report drafted by Congress concerning the Jovenel Moïse assassination. So let's dive in. So this was from a Twitter account. This was from November 9th. Fabrice Mauriet, who is the French ambassador to Haiti, down in Haiti, tweeted, fully confident after my visit with Escuesta, which is the ambassador of Spain to Haiti. Today from the Port-au-Prince Hospital cite that this important project funded by USAID and AFD France will be completed in mid-2023. Our duty is to show development projects come out in Haiti. So just to give you background information on this, back in 2010, after the earthquake, there was a state university hospital in the capital, Port-au-Prince, that got just completely destroyed. So at the time, the government of Haiti had asked both USAID and AFD, which is Agence Française de Développement, or French Development Agency in English, for some assistance to rebuild the hospital. So obviously here, these are a few models right here from the tweet. It should be ready by mid-2023. So those of you that are not familiar, USAID obviously is a development aid program funded by Congress, which is essentially the US government. Same thing similar to Aid Development France. 85%, except they're different, where 15% of their funding comes from this the state's budget, so France and plus the European Union, where 85% the rest of their funding comes from interest gain that they made off of giving out loans. So their funding is slightly different. However, their goal is essentially the same. Now, based on this right here, so this was the fact sheet for the construction of the hospital, and they didn't specify exactly, not on the fact sheet, however, but after the announcement, they didn't specify for the funding that was given to Haiti from USAID and AFD. So we've got the numbers here. So on the fact sheet here, you can tell that, well, gives you a background. January 2010 earthquake caused severe damage, including a collapsed building in HUEH, Haiti's primary public territory and teaching hospital located in downtown Port-au-Prince. So right here, you can see that the funding from French agency development was 25 million, as well as the US as well. They gave 25 million each, and then the Haitian government gave out 33 million. So a total of 83 million for the funding, with 15 million of foreign aid, essentially. So in terms of the funding and the hospital, this is a very good thing. Mainly obviously for Haitian citizens down there. A lot of Haitians mainly have to depend on NGO facilities like UNICEF for care, because oftentimes the hospitals down there are either beds are overtaken, or they don't have enough capacity to help certain injuries or treat certain illnesses down there as well. So definitely this will relieve a lot of the burden on NGOs as well as other hospitals and facilities down there too. So this is a good thing. However, when you look at on a surface level, you can look at it and see, well, okay, well, $50 million given to Haiti to help build this hospital. It's a very good thing. You look at it, it may be a lot of money. However, if you put it into perspective, dating back even from the occupation of the U.S. in Haiti, the possession of France, Haiti as a colony to France, the 50 million in perspective is a very, very, very minimal amount. I want to highlight, although these NGOs, not the NGOs, these foreign aid agencies give out money, and they are providing a service. When you look at the background, essentially what they're handing out to compared to what they're taking, it's a completely different level. I could say huge discrepancy, essentially. So for example, I'm gonna take a look at here. So this, for those of you who don't know or have never read it, there was a New York Times article, a very thorough New York Times article that essentially showed kind of the history of Haiti and how essentially it's been taken advantage of by international forces, mainly France and the United States. But in this case here, they're focusing on a bank that was based in France, and how they use essentially they installed the Haitian National Bank while gaining making a profit off fees every time. For example, the government of Haiti had to make a certain transaction per se. Even then, the Haitian National Bank, once it was installed as well, it even helped finance the Eiffel Tower at the time too. So there's one point I want to show you here. Give me one sec. Highlighting coffee because there was a certain amount of number. There it is. Okay. 6 million. So just to give you an idea here of how much money has been taken, and it's obviously these numbers are without the independence that they had to pay up. So I'm just leaving that's the numbers without this, obviously, because it's not talking about it here. But you can see by the early 20th century, half of the taxes on Haiti's coffee crop, by far its most important source of revenue, went to French investors at CIC and the National Bank. After Haiti's other debts were deducted, its government was left with pennies, 6 cents of every $3 collected to run the country. And just to put it into perspective. Another number that was even more shocking: the damage was lasting. Over 3 decades, French shareholders made profits of at least 136 million in today's dollars from Haiti's national bank. So in what world does a foreign country make money off of national bank from a completely quote unquote independent country? So about the entire year's worth of country's tax revenue at the time, the document shows. So this is without the money that the independence debt. So just to put into perspective, there's a lot of aid going on in Haiti. Mainly the main a lot of aid mainly comes from the U.S. And then we have international. We have CARICOM, Canada, and obviously it's a few development projects from France. But when you put into perspective, the amount of the reaped benefits that they've already had from the U.S. and France surpasses by far the $50 million given to rebuild the hospital. So although I think it's not on the bigger picture, it's very, very small. But I do think for the Haitian people, especially in living in Port-au-Prince, this is a very good thing. Okay, so now I want to take a look at a report here. So this was a report to Congress on the assassination of former President Jovonel Moïse. So those of you who don't know, July 7th, July 7th, 2021, Jovonel Moïse was killed in his home with mercenaries that entered his home, killed him, and left. Left him obviously wounded, his wife wounded, which she ended up having to get treated in a hospital in Florida, I believe Miami, to be specific. So this is a report that came out back in October, which is basically through the Transparency Initiative Act, because at the time Claude Joseph, the interim prime minister, had requested investigation. So under this act, they had to essentially provide a report after the investigation here. A few things I wanted to highlight in terms of the intimidation, and just to show why. So there's not much movement on the case right now. It's pretty stale in terms of really who's responsible. There've been mercenaries that've been arrested, and a few other parties that've been detained. So either in Florida or one guy especially in Turkey. once after he arrived there through the airport. But I want to read you this here. So this is basically a summary of the threats and acts intimidated on Haitian authorities that are trying to um, conduct the investigation. So you'll see here, since the start of the investigation, several Haitian authorities have received threats in connection with their participation in investigating the case, while others have refused to take on the case out of fear for their own safety. The justice of the peace who documented Moïse's home after the assassination, Carl Henri Destin, court clerk Marcelin Valentin, and Waki Philosten, and former chief prosecutor Bedford Claude all reportedly received threats. Several judges turned down the case, reportedly for reason of personal convenience, as permitted under Haitian law, before Saint-Ville was finally able to assign it to Mathieu Chanlat on August 9th, 2021. However, Chanlat withdrew only days later on August 13, 2021, citing personal reasons. His resignation came the day after one of his judicial clerks, Ernst Lafortune, passed away. So you see, a lot of the judges, prosecutors that are assigned to the case have been threatened, and even in some cases, some even pieces for the evidence for the investigation has been modified or stolen, attempted stolen in the judge's office as well. And just to show you how corrupt this is, even last year, the Haitian interim de facto prime minister Ariel Henry, who was not voted in by the international, who was not actually, well, I could say he was put in. He's been accepted by the international community. However, he was not voted in by Haitian citizens themselves. So he's kind of a de facto leader. Well, he is a de facto leader right now, put in place, essentially a puppet for the international community and Haitian oligarchs to keep their interest in place. But last year, essentially, there was he was called by a justice minister because there was reports that the justice minister was essentially trying to take him in for questioning, because the night before the assassination, there's proof that he Prime Minister Ariel Henry had called Felix Badiou, which Felix Badiou is one of the prime suspects and still missing, still wanted somewhere in Haiti, for the assassination of Jovonel Moïse, since he was one of the main key actors in the assassination and in planning it as well. So once he got questioned by the justice minister, he essentially fired him, and for no good reason. There's never a sincere reason that was released by the government or Ariel Henry himself. So I'm gonna get you right here. So yeah, Henri's dismissal of Justice Minister Rockefeller Vincent came a day after he fired Port-au-Prince chief prosecutor, who had linked the prime minister to a key suspect in the killing of President Jovonel Moïse. So essentially, see here. Oh yeah, the appointment comes less than a week after Port-au-Prince chief prosecutor Bedford Claude asked Henri to meet with him Tuesday to explain why he had two phone conversations with the key suspect just hours after the July 7th killing of Moïse at his home. The suspect, Joseph Badiou, was fired from government's anti-corruption unit. That's ironic. I didn't know this. Badiou was fired from the government's anti-corruption unit in May and remains a fugitive. Just to show how corrupt things are in Haiti, there can't be a proper as of now, there can't be any proper justice for the slain former president, because the justice system is crap. The most powerful man in Haiti, at least in politics, is essentially obstructing the investigation itself. So we'll see what will happen. As of now, the U.S. is still assisting the investigation. They've sent a few FBI agents down there over the course of last summer, 2021, and a bit. I believe they had conducted an investigation down there, April or May, and they had found that it's just no names essentially, but they found a lot of wire transfers in terms for the financing of the assassination came from the United States, and was sent to Haiti as well. So The investigation is still going on. There's still a lot of questions to be asked. For example, even there was a video that had surfaced the day of the assassination that showed that the mercenaries, once before going in, they were saying, "Oh, it's a." They were essentially announcing a DEA operation multiple times. So questions like that still have to be answered as well. Um, and jumping off of this, the report, just to show that there was essentially a policy recommendation on Haiti for the Biden administration back in March 2021. So the assassination happened in July, and this meeting, essentially, it happened in March, and it had people from the Haitian diaspora, former Ambassador Pamela White, which we'll get to, former ambassador from the States to Haiti, Pamela White. She served between 2012 and 2015. And then we also had a few, I believe, congressmen, not a congressman, a few representative of the U.S. government as well that are experts on the situation on Haiti. There was an interesting exchange between Pamela White, because this is nothing new. I'll show you here. So this is nothing new. This is from The Intercept here, but by Ryan, big fan of Ryan Grimm. Former ambassador on the Haitian president in March put him aside. Former ambassador on Haitian president in March had stated during this meeting, put him aside and embraced the prime minister option. This was taken out of context. I remember when this video came out, it was taken out of context because it made it seem that at the time that's Pamela White was essentially still working for the U.S. government. There was no detail saying that she was a former ambassador giving recommendations. So I remember when the video first came out, it made it seem like she had power in terms to how to conduct the removal of the president of Haiti as well. So I want to show you something here.
Let me.
I'll have to go back. Actually, oh yeah, right here.
Real possibility. But I think more to the point is that if we don't develop Haitians and give Haitians a decent quality of living, including giving them something to do, employment and basic health care and human rights, that we're going to find them on our doors in huge numbers, and we just can't afford to do that.
Let me ask you a question about the comment that you made. I really appreciated, Ambassador, about conditionality with foreign aid, and Mr. Connolly's recitation of American history with respect to Haiti. The American people, American taxpayers, not just in terms of these missions.
I've got the video here.
Yes, well, as I said in my testimony, I think that it would be nice if he would step down, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that he sort of put him aside at the
rights groups and opposition leaders that is overseen by the Moïse administration would automatically be.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay.
Sorry, everyone. And, I want to just, given what you've just said, Ms. Auguste, I just want to address the position that's been emphasized by some of our witnesses and members here today.
I'm sorry, just to reiterate again, this is the those of you that are listening this on a DSP or any other podcast platform. This is the policy recommendations on Haiti for the Biden administration. So this is just essentially a Zoom meeting between a bunch of representatives, including people from the Haitian diaspora,
which is that any
and former ambassador Pamela White.
Election or referendum that is overseen by the Moïse administration would automatically be seen by the Haitian people as illegitimate. We have seen on the ground, I've heard firsthand, human rights groups and opposition leaders maintaining that Moïse's term ended February 7th and an interim government is necessary to organize elections. Now, the question, Ambassador White, that I have for you is, if the Provisional Electoral Council cannot meet the standard of being free, fair, and credible, but the current president does not step down, how can Congress, the Biden administration, and the international community play a responsible role in ensuring that any election that is held is credible and legitimate, and in facilitating the public acceptance of the results, and in mediating between the Moïse administration and the opposition? That's what we're trying to do. I think that's what we need to do. Ambassador?
Yes, well, as I said in my testimony, I think that it would be nice if he would step down, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that we sort of put him aside at the best of, in the best of all worlds, and we have a prime minister appointed that is non-corrupt, that is not from the political sector, that's not from the private sector. There are several really good candidates. I'm not going to name them, but there are several. And then we have this summit that we put out the OCEP. We have a summit where the actors come back to the table and we discuss how we can get the right representation in order to have a CEP that is credible. I mean, that is one solution that I can see happening within the very near future. I think the problem with transitional governments is then we're in that mess again, and it slows down everything again. It's not that in fact, I wrote a piece, or I talked to a piece in the New Yorker a couple of years ago where I said, I think that's exactly what we need. But I think right now we could use the prime minister option.
Thank you very much. I think my time has expired.
So yeah, this was in March, and I said the government was looking for recommendations on how best to assist Haiti, for whatever that means. And the Pamela White was giving a very interesting perspective in terms of choosing. Well, first of all, Jovonel Moïse's term ended in February. Per the Constitution, that was his 5-year mark. But he said his term ended sometime in September, I believe. July or no. Yeah, it was sometime in the fall. Some people believe that he was overstaying because he wanted to make a few changes to the Constitution for good reasons before he left. And some believe that he was staying there for malicious intent. I believe that he was staying there for good reasons. And although maybe he might have overextended the stay, I don't think he was staying for to try and get any political gain or for any type of corrupt reasons. But then again, these are all politicians, especially Haitian politicians. You never know. So essentially for this meeting now, so transpire a few months after Jovonel Moïse is dead, and now we actually do have a situation where it's there is a transitional government with the prime minister as the head of state. The only difference now, as Pamela suggested, where they'd want someone that's not a former politician, not involved in business in Haiti. This guy is is well connected, at least, with Haitian politicians. The way that he's held power, it looks like it as well as Haitian billionaires, millionaires, and essentially anyone that's financing gangs in Haiti for their own political reasons or financial gain. He seems to be well connected with them too. And on the same video, I actually stumbled upon a short. It's the same video, but a short clip, and essentially it was Pamela's White. So one of the representatives asked Pamela about the Silk and Road Initiative from China, and how obviously Silk and Belt Road Initiative, for those of you who don't know, is essentially a program by China. China trying to make grow their economy even more and make new friends on the international stage. So with this initiative, they have a very big presence in Africa, where a lot of development projects are being initiated, and a lot of African states are getting concession loans, basically almost zero interest loans to build for infrastructure, where it's very hard to say no, because those rates are, if you compare them to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund's bank loans, they're far. You have a way better advantage taking a loan from China than the IMF as of now. So Pamela White was questioned about this because China had contacted Haiti for the same the same projects are going on. They do have a small presence in Latin America and as well in the Caribbean, specifically in Cuba recently. So I'm just gonna take a look here. Yeah.
Officer from anywhere.
The written reports say that there have been 251 COVID deaths in Haiti. That seems like a very low number. Ms. White, should I believe that number?
A very, very trusted doctor from, that has ties to Cornell, that's a Haitian doctor, has.
One more question. That is, Haiti is one of the 15 nations to recognize Taiwan. We have the Beijing offering free assistance, concessionary loans. Is Haiti better off sticking with Taiwan? And should we be concerned with China trying to develop a relationship with the government of Haiti?
So yeah, should we be concerned with China trying to establish a relationship with Haiti? Funny question to me because I wish I knew the reason to his question itself because they're not stupid. They know the Belt and Road Initiative is doing way more for African nations and whatever other country that China is helping, as opposed to what the US is doing to the countries they're occupying or reaping the benefits out of themselves. The aid is completely different because one thing with the Chinese aid is that their projects actually they actually get completed. If I compared something when the U.S. occupied Haiti from 1915 to 1934, one of the things that they stated at the time is that they wanted to help build the education system in Haiti. The U.S. government did little to nothing to really help the education system in Haiti itself. They hadn't really established any type of system or built any type of school, but they did occupy the country for almost 20 years during that time with nothing to show. Whereas China, for example, you look at projects they're doing in Africa, you're seeing highways, roads, hospitals, and school all completely in a reasonable time and it's completely done and fixed itself. So they definitely hold their end of bargain, at least on the Chinese side.
Is this for me again?
Yep.
I don't know the extent of.
One more question.
So
that
let's go
is,
back again.
Haiti is one of the 15 nations to recognize Taiwan. We have the Beijing offering free assistance, concessionary loans. Is Haiti better off sticking with Taiwan? And should we be concerned with China trying to develop a relationship with the government of Haiti?
Is this for me again?
Yep.
I don't know the extent of what the Taiwanese is doing in Haiti anymore, to say the honest about it, so I can't really comment on that. But I have seen the Chinese slowly creeping in all across Africa and Haiti, and I personally do not think this is a good thing.
Yeah. They've sent hundreds of thousands of face masks, to thousands of tons of rice. That is to say, Taiwan has to one of.
So I wish Pamela went into why she doesn't believe it's a good idea, but obviously there's no, just because it's another economic big power. You've got the big countries like US, China, Russia, but mainly China and the US. I wish she had given a reason, but I'm not naive. Obviously, I know that if there was a reason, I'm not sure if that. I don't think this was the appropriate place for them to talk about that side. But clearly, though, I'm sure they see that the aid that African nations are getting from China compared to the aid that the U.S. may be offering to other nations is completely different. because you see that in Africa there's actually a lot, there's the development projects are actually helping down there and actually helping their end bargain. Just to give you an example, Hades has had relations with the United States since the 1800s. And even when the U.S. first stepped foot in to occupy Haiti, which I believe was 1915, nothing's been done. And it's been over 100 years of diplomatic relations. And I can honestly say, and unless I'm wrong here, there's really nothing concrete that that the U.S. has done for Haiti for development. And if they have, there definitely was a trade off as well. And just to give you an example, like even back in 1915, under the guise of spreading, not spreading democracy, sorry, but under the guise of essentially, at the time, I wouldn't say under the guise, but at the time the U.S. was, since Haiti was in America's backyard, they kind of want to establish control and have their influence in the Western Hemisphere. Back at the time when Haiti, there was a couple assassinations within 3 years. The U.S. press was basically printing out how it's a mess in Haiti and they need basically order. They had gone down there and stolen 500,000 of our U.S. gold reserve and brought it back to United States for quote unquote safekeeping, which is funny because the original amount was actually 110K, and then they had decided, nah, we'll just take 500K worth of gold and bring it back because you guys can't figure it out for yourselves. So I find this very funny. There's no really reason as to why, other than that China is a rising economic superpower. To me, at least, U.S. looks like a dying empire as well. I'm trying to find the source, but there's even a book or an author, he basically stating and explaining how the average empire lasts around 350 years. And the U.S. is approaching that time or surpassed the 350 years right now. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This, like I said, this is a weekly show every Wednesday on YouTube and other DSPs, podcast platforms. Subscribe if you like this or if this brings value to you. Thank you very much and have a nice day.